Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining today's post-match media availability with Nashville C head coach BJ Callaghan following today's 1-1 draw. We'll start with questions in the room and then go to the Zoom. As always, if you have questions on Zoom, please use the hand raise function. Coach, go ahead and start just by sharing your thoughts on the match. Obviously, a come from behind draw after being down 1-1 at half. What did you see out there today?
Yeah, we're really proud of the performance of the group today. You come down here in a very difficult place to play, a team that has a lot of talent on the field, well coached, and obviously well set up in that to come out and really give us everything that we could handle in the early part of the game. The response by the team was really good. I would say maybe from 30th minute on, I thought we sort of changed the momentum. We were able to make some adjustments at halftime. And, that's the performance you want to see in the second half. We were able to get one back. And then what I was really, finally, what I was really proud of the group is one wasn't enough. We continued to push. We continued to push all the way through to try and get a second goal and get 3 points. But, it wasn't out there. Credit to Brad, who's not continuing to make big saves. Just a tremendous guy and a tremendous goalkeeper. But again, just really proud of the group.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start in the room with Claudio, then we'll go to Valer. Like I said, ask two if you have them. Thanks.
BJ, well, besides you already said it, and you actually mentioned it before in the press conference, that Guzan was a great keeper to kind of announce the whole thing. Now, do you think that Nashville actually, because of what the work you did most of the minutes, deserved the victory?
No, I think you have a really good Atlanta team, and they really gave a lot to us in the first half. They've got a ton of talent, and I thought that we played a really big time team game today with lots of contributions from a lot of people, and even the guys that came in. So for us, again, coming in here and playing at Atlanta is a really difficult environment. We'll take the 1 point. We certainly wanted 3 points, but I love the mentality of the team to go after the 3 points. And I thought it was out there. And yeah, of course, we're gonna have a little bit of a sour taste in our mouth, but it's difficult to win on the road here. And this is an okay start for us to start in that.
Now, where you put this game in terms of what you told us already in terms of inconsistency. Very good first halves in some places, very good second half like tonight. I mean, is there any particular thing you could say when you match those two things, or it's just a part of what happened today?
I thought today was. I still thought from this was a good complete performance for us. They came out with a ton of energy. It took us a little bit of time to settle in, but I thought for us there was just a few moments where we were just off with a little bit of a pass. We didn't have a great setup on the right-hand side to really exploit some of the space, but it wasn't due to like a bad performance or a flat performance. The guys were up for the challenge all night from from the first minute to the 90th minute. So for me, I thought it was a real complete professional performance. Again, a really good Atlanta team. They're going to have the ball for periods of time. They're going to create a couple of scoring chances, but overall through the night, I think we created the better scoring chances. Again, I thought it was a really complete team performance.
BJ, I guess you've played teams that play a more open style recently. Like I'm just thinking about Chicago, where they kept pushing and they kept trying to go. Where I feel like Atlanta, after their goal, they sat back a little bit and maybe played the low block. Do you see any benefit from Nashville facing these sort of different style and finding a way to score?
Yeah, I think it's a great challenge. It's going to be a great learning opportunity for us a little bit. That you're right. They did drop off a little bit and kind of defend in their own half. And whenever that happens, it's difficult to score. I thought at halftime we were able to make a few adjustments to get some guys into some different spaces between their block. That paid dividends and started to get us a little bit more access into the penalty box and with more numbers inside the penalty box. We weren't so cross-reliant. And then, in addition, we had real brave center backs with Jason and Jack stepping all the way up, which isn't easy when you have Latela and Almiron and players like this. But they were really brave tonight in the back. And, I thought handled a lot of space and we were able to create a lot of sustained attacks in that second half and kind of pin Atlanta in. And, I thought really a great performance across the whole team.
And speaking of that sort of pushing up, especially, the defenders, but the whole team was obviously pushing up and trying to get that second goal. Was there a point like 85 minutes in where you were like, okay, maybe we shouldn't risk as much going backwards?
I mean, I want to instill in this entire club. I want to instill in this team, and I think you saw tonight that we want to go after wins. And if you can get 3 points, it's simple math. You can lose 3 times on the road and get 1 win, and it equals the same number. So we're always a team that wants to be going for 3 points. That's our mentality. Even though we didn't secure 3 points tonight, I think you saw that mentality and that aggressiveness all the way through.
Jacob James.
BJ, you went with the same starting 11 as you did against Chicago. Was that just wanting to see what they could do, building off of the 7-goal performance that you had then, just with that strong performance?
Yeah, I mean, when the guys that play in 7-2 a game, it's difficult to walk in and tell them that they're not going to play. So again, but that's the group that starts the game. But we talk about the solutions coming in the game and making big impacts, and I think you saw that tonight when Johnny Perez is able to come in and create some goal scoring chances and create some better combinations on that right side, and then Ahmed comes into the game and he's able to sort of get isolated and make some plays in the penalty box. So again, the group that starts is only the group that starts. And we know that to be successful in this league and to be successful this season as it goes on, we're going to count on everybody. And we're really proud of everybody that's making it a contribution. And again, I continue to say, showing that, this was a true team win tonight.
And I think I heard on the broadcast that Atlanta had allowed, I think, 5 set piece goals among the lowest, among the highest in MLS coming in, and you get your goal off of a set piece. I guess what did you see on set pieces and on that particular one with Dan Levitz that you were able to attack, and what did you see from the delivery from Hani and then the volley from Dan? Yeah,
for us, we again, in our process of how we evaluate opponents and how we evaluate our performances, we continually try to be detailed in every phase of play, and attacking and defending set pieces are no different. John Bayo handles attacking set pieces, Danny Sapero handles defending set pieces, and they do it with a great level of detail. And I think, to put the players in the positions, and you have to give the credit to the players. Like, somebody has to serve the ball. Hani's been putting in great balls, and you're seeing contributions across the board from guys. And so we're, again, we try to focus on every phase of play in our preparation. And for times like this, when that's how you sort of claw back and get to a 1-1 draw through an attacking set piece.
Nick Frazier. You might be muted, Nick.
There you go. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. BJ, going in this game, obviously there was a lot of expectation that Atlanta to bounce back from, but the TV broadcast mentioned that over 50% of your attacks came from the right flank. Going into the second half, what adjustments did you see in Atlanta's defensive side that you could see that you could exploit in the second half?
I think just for us, it was about an opportunity to try to get a couple more numbers forward. In the first half, we basically had our 2 center midfielders a little bit deeper with our center backs. In the second half, I think we were able to make an adjustment and sort of you could push Eddie or Patrick up a little bit further. We figured if they were going to continue to sort of sit a little bit lower, we needed to get more numbers and more numbers and an opportunity to access the penalty box with more numbers, whether that's with runners, or being able to get more players in the box with the ball. And so for us, that was sort of just the little adjustment that we made. And again, in the same light of we want to go for wins. And so we knew that we wanted to sort of default aggressive and try to get a couple more guys, into the attacking third.
And then when you made the substitution for Josh Bauer and Eddie Nahar, was that primarily just more for just, I guess, to keep his legs fresh going into the long stretch into May?
I mean, I think it's more how tired he was in the game from how much you just said that we put 50% of the attacks down the right-hand side, and he was a big part of our attack tonight. Also, so towards the end of that game, they think they brought in some fresh legs out on the outside. So we wanted to match that with fresh legs. And then you can see, even we know how these MLS games end, that there's always a little bit of chaos. So we wanted to make sure that we had a bigger threat, a bigger person to help neutralize some of the defensive set pieces and any crosses that they were going to put in. They sort of went to a back five, I guess you would say, but it's more like three with higher wired wingers. So we expected them to maybe start being a little bit more crossing balls into the box, maybe later when they made that change. And so, I think it was a bit of just a small tactical adjustment with Josh, as well as, Andy emptied his tank, and credit to him, because, I think he made a huge impact both offensively and defensively tonight.
We'll go to Ben with last two questions.
Yeah, BJ, you already touched on Jason, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on just his ability to not only win the ball but to carry it forward, play the ball forward, and really kind of start a lot of the attacks from the back. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I think Jason showed a really complete performance. Was able to defend, well in individual duels. Was able to defend by covering space behind the back line, winning aerial duels, and then on the ball. I think played a lot of variety of passes. Played a lot of passes that bypassed defenders on the outside. And when that kind of got closed down, he was able to break lines and find Hani in the pocket a little bit. So yeah, just I think showed sort of his versatility tonight, and had I think he had a good performance along with the entire back line. I think had I would say the back line and the two center midfielders had a big job tonight versus a really talented Atlanta team, and they stepped up to the challenge for sure.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of leads into my next question. I want to ask about Eddie, especially just his ability to cover ground in front of the back line. It felt like it let you guys play maybe a little bit higher, but also not picking up a yellow card. Just how important was he tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think what happens is we get a little bit, I think, used to seeing things that Eddie does, and it becomes normal, but it's not. I mean, the ground that he covers, the balls that he recovers, how he, again, part of that bravery of moving our team forward, he gives the guys confidence. And, I think I said it earlier in the week, sometimes midfielders are called box to box midfielders. It's a common term. I call Eddie a goal to goal. He goes the whole field. And again, his greatest strength is that he makes all the players around him better. And you can see that tonight.